Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and I'm going to be reacting to Chainsaw Man chapter 232. So before anything, I am still recovering from a cold, so I don't think I'm going to be talking much after reading the chapter, and just because it's the last one, like I might get emotional, but at the same time I'm like, I hope not, because my cold might start acting up. So I still have no idea if this is the last chapter of just part 2 or if it is truly the last chapter of the series as a whole. Because I don't know if you noticed, but when I finished reading 231 during the reaction, I did not notice that in the last page it said next chapter and then it said final chapter and then the date. But yeah, as I'm looking at it right now, the last page of 231 just says to be continued. So that's strange and has very much caused confusion in the fandom. But yeah, I logged out of Twitter yesterday. I have no freaking clue what's gonna happen. I haven't been spoiled about anything. So here we are. I have my Pochta shirt and I have my Pochta plushie as well. So yeah, the world may have forgotten him, but I never will. So, oh my goodness. I did say I'm not gonna talk much about the last chapter, but do not worry. I am still going to make a follow-up video talking about my thoughts on it, but also just my thoughts on part 2 overall. I don't know when the video will be out because I want to reread the whole series before I make it. It could be a month, it could be 2 months from now, but I'm just letting you know there will be more of me talking about the final chapter. So yeah, okay. There's a lot of things that I don't think will be addressed in 232, but to me, the most important one that I don't think I will be satisfied will be Asa's character arc conclusion. It just, I'm not gonna talk too much about it right now because I haven't read the final chapter, but just saying that right now out loud. And then I'll talk a little about it after reading it. But okay, Pochta said goodbye and told Denji that it's better that Chainsaw Man is erased from the world and separated from Denji himself. And it's like, I'm of two minds about this. And the thing is that I don't like that not being Chainsaw Man anymore wasn't Denji's choice to make. It was thrust upon him. Like, yes, I know that being Chainsaw Man in the first place was also thrust upon him, in chapter 1. But I still don't like that, even if it's with good intentions, once again, Denji has been forced by someone else to just make a choice instead of growing and making a choice himself. As well as just, because of the way that 230 ended, it also took away Asa's own choice of standing up for herself and just letting it known that her wants and needs are not what Yoru says, and that she in fact did not give consent. But that's all just, kinda hand-waved away, in my opinion. But yeah, so at the same time, Denji does use Chainsaw Man as a unhealthy coping mechanism, an emotional crutch to cope with the loss of power, Aki, and later Nayuta. And that's very unhealthy of him, He uses it as a way of just how do I say it? I kind of talked about it last video, but basically as a way to punish himself for things that he sees as his own sins and killing his own family when they weren't really his fault. And it's, in a way, Chainsaw Man, an allegory for addiction, really, in the way that Denji uses it as a alternative to fill the void that his family left him. And he gets that rush, that high, once he's being Chainsaw Man. But then immediately, once the high goes down, he regrets it. And as we see early on in the aging arc, he says, like, whenever I turn into Chainsaw Man, things just go badly. So he's aware, but he just can't get himself to stop, which is maybe why this is like a sort of representation of like Pochita being like a family member being like, yo, Denji, this is time for an intervention. You need help, and you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself. So I need to take action and do it, even if you can't do it. That could work. But at the same time, Chainsaw Man is also like a big part of just the biggest and most meaningful connection that he's ever made, which is Pochita. And it's because he had a friend in Pochita during the time when he was just, living in poverty with, the huge amount of debt, that he was able to keep going because at the very least he had Pochita. And it doesn't seem like Pochita really understands that. It seems he's really not seeing the value that his bond had on Denji. After all, it's because of Pochita that Denji even had a chance of being able to dream bigger. Even if Pochita is also an indirect cause of other people coming in and making Denji suffer. The dynamic between Denji and Pochita is just way too precious for Denji to think that losing him is better than not having had all of those bad things happen to him. But Pochita doesn't listen to him. And like at this point, Chainsaw Man is such a big part of Denji's identity. It's really hard to see what kind of person Denji would be if he never met Pochita, which I guess we're going to see next chapter. But it really does feel kind of wrong that Pochita has just stolen this very big part of who Denji is. So yeah, there's a lot to this. Yeah, there were good parts and bad parts of being Chainsaw Man. So it's hard to say whether Pochita has done the right or wrong thing here. But it's like I see both sides for sure. Especially since even though it wasn't Denji's intentions to leave Naita to die by herself, him choosing Chainsaw Man in that moment above her, even if it was out of a feeling of not feeling worthy that he should stay with her at the end of the day, it was because he chose to keep fighting a fight that he didn't need to instead of running away with her, that things, well, kept going up to a point where he lost her. I'm not blaming him, but his actions do have consequences. And him choosing Chainsaw Man above anything else there had that consequence. But also, if Denji wasn't Chainsaw Man, then he wouldn't have saved as many people as he has and influenced them in positive ways. So yeah, it's a balance of sorts that he couldn't really achieve. As he was too blinded by the fame and shallow love that fans of Chainsaw Man would give him, when what he truly wants is something more meaningful and personal. So yeah, I guess we're here. I'm trying to see if there's anything more I want to say, but I don't know. I'm legit very nervous about how 232 is going to play out. But I gotta get to it. So yeah, it's still heartbreaking the way that Pochita left Denji, even though he, without words, let him know how much he does love him, but he still sees it as a necessary sacrifice to do for the greater of Denji's life. Even though, like, he's going against Denji's wishes, but okay. Let's get to 232, and with that, I'm gonna be listening to a calm / sad compilation of Chainsaw Man OSTs. So let's get to it. It's 34 pages. Okay? So it is longer than the usual. The title is Thank You, Chainsaw Man. Also, I might actually, because it's a special occasion, I think I'll have the panels of, what I'm reading here on the screen. Just, very transparent and with the Chainsaw Man logo, but I want to try that for this last time. Thank you, Chainsaw Man. Okay, we see the shack that we saw the end of 231. The one where everything started. Oh shit. Denji looking at blood in his hand from coughing as he remembered in chapter 1 that his mother died from like a heart disease. And we see it's pouring rain outside. He's back to having the eye patch, so yeah, he went back to missing all the body parts before becoming a hybrid. Feels like I had a good and bad dream. Oh my god, bro, like actually. Because we weren't sure that, did Denji just go back to the shack? Like he literally walked there? Or did we go back in time as a full-on reset? And it seems like the latter is the answer. Oh my god. I already feel like crying. Feels like I had a good and bad dream. Tell me about it. A sweet dream? He looks outside the shack. Wish I would only have good dreams, like eating with a girl and playing video games. Just such a, yeah, like really, we're in the chapter 1 mindset. Like, straight up. Because we know, that Denji, even after everything that he'd gone through, he wouldn't choose to have just good dreams. He'd accepted all the bad with the good, because that's what living a normal life is. Though he wasn't satisfied with a normal life, and he wanted more risks eventually to get more high rewards. And well, we all know how that went down. He looks up and down as he says, I want a pet dog too. Don't. Oh, this is so cruel. There's a knock on the door. Denji looks at it. And then we're off on the road. I'm guessing to, the Yakuza made a contract with the zombie devil. And then Denji's gonna get killed by it. And then what? Okay, so they arrive at the abandoned warehouse. What we want is the devil's power. And what I want is the death of all devil hunters. And then Denji screams as he gets stabbed from behind. Blood pours out from his chest. And he thinks, oh man, am I really gonna kick the bucket before even one good thing could happen to me? That's just my luck though. After all, yeah. It was all, truly, there was no relief in this version of events. He didn't even have a pet dog. Oh my god, is that who I think it is? It must be. It's a naked woman. At least I got to have one last good dream. It's power. But she's not with public safety. Gah! Blood, blood, blood! Oh my goodness! I actually saw theories that the Blood Devil could show up. But I was just like, anything could happen. I don't know. All this time, waiting for the Blood Devil in part 2. And for that to happen, Denji had to give up Pochita, huh? Except it's not just the Blood Devil. But it is power. Just not exactly the one Denji lost. Give it back, this all mine. How did she end up here? Oh, the panel with blood going across the moon. She's lying down on top of the zombie devil. Oh my god, power! She's looking at Denji. And Denji's looking like he's already dead. This human smells like a dog. I like dogs. What? Yo. Oh, this is definitely not power. Where's Meowie? This is a contract. Oh my god. She's giving him blood. I'll give you life. In exchange, your mind until you die. Holy shit. What? Let's keep on going. Oh shit. Chains. The control devil. Yeah. Devil hunters show up. Oops. Thought you were the zombie devil. Ooh, Denji's getting up, and the blood devil is ready to fight. Oh, yeah, it is the control devil, but it's not Makima. There's black hair. You beat those guys? You could be useful. Oh my god, the silhouette style, just from exactly like chapter 1. From today on, you both belong to me. But why? This Denji doesn't have something that... He doesn't have the chainsaw devil within him. So why? Belong to you? I think not. Humans are really idiotic. Human, behold my battle prowess. I'm Power, the blood devil. Okay, so she is still named Power. My power is said to equal that of a god. Take this. She's not as powerful as she could be, though. She only has 2 horns. And she is in a fiend form. Bang! Oh shit! I thought it was gonna be a completely new control devil. It's straight up, well, physically, it's Nayuta. But this time, public safety got to her, and she must have been raised by them. Oh, that's so sad. But, in this new form of events, she could still be changed by Denji. So let's see. Denji and Power in public safety uniforms, though slightly different than they were before. And we have the dogs again. Oh, they're alive here. Also, different to when Denji first joins public safety. He does not look one least bit happy being here. A devil at a school? Yup, I'm busy. You two go kill it by yourselves. Is Nayuta here having the same rank in public safety as Makima did? Ugh, so busy. Oh my god, is that Meowie? Here, Meowie was never Powers. It was always Nayuta's? Video games? Lucky. As Power pouts. Come on, we need Aki. Meowie likes her. Why? Oh, okay, no. Meowie is Powers. But got endeared by Nayuta really quickly. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm just taking this all by stride, but just taking a second, like, this is insane. One by one, Denji's getting his family back. But of course, he has no idea. He hasn't formed that bond just yet. Meowie shouldn't love anyone but me. That girl has to be the control devil or something. I was really fast figuring out her identity. Must be nice to have a happy-go-lucky brain like yours. I am not happy. That girl gets to keep meowing a bunch of dogs. Meow, my only pet is you and you are not even cute. Interesting. Like, our power never used to call humans pets, but this one does. That was more of a horseman thing. One panel of like Denji thinking, and then says Paui, weapon. That's the first time he says the nickname Paui here. Did he remember something? What do you want to kill with today? I used an axe the other day, so give me a chainsaw. Wait. Chainsaws exist? Did someone reinvent them? But yeah, Power made one no problem. Interesting. Okay, they killed the devil, whatever it was. Looked like the crab devil. And the civilian seems to have been killed. He kinda looks like Mr. Tanaka from chapter 98, but I could be wrong. The devil's been exterminated. This area is safe now. Don't touch the blood or the body, please. That kind of reminds me of when he killed the tomato devil. He was telling the Yakuza that, you shouldn't get too close, just in case, because it can regrow from seeds. He's looking at regular kids playing at a school. Yeah, even here, he doesn't really get to have a normal life. Wish I could have gone to school too. Awesome! And Bucky! Oh. Hey, Power, isn't that a devil too? Turd, Power, hey. This blood. Oh shit. Denji's actually gonna go kill Bucky in this? Or will Asa trip before that happens? But he rushes towards Bucky, saying, damn it. Ooh. His legs as he runs, being followed up by Asa's. Then we get his face, and we see her that it does seem like she's about to trip. We get a close-up of the side of his face where he has the eye patch, but he's sweating. Yeah, she is indeed falling. Then it looks like he's about to yell. He drops the chainsaw and grabs Asa's arm before she fully falls. Whoa. And we get a double page spread of him actually kinda hugging her as he prevents her from falling and killing Bucky. Of course, this is an Asa that, she still has trauma from her mom and dad, and she has a bad school life, but it still has not gone through the horrors of most of part 2. So she can still blush as something as what seems to be as innocuous as this, because she has no idea what would have transpired afterwards. To her, this is just a boy hugging her out of nowhere, and her getting flustered by it. Holy shit, so that's how they meet here. Now she's making a classic Asa face, and even Denji is blushing too. My bad. Bucky just watching in the corner. Thank you, Chainsaw Man. Oh, his heart. Wait a minute. Yeah, what the hell? That is Puchta inside of him. Only that is not literal, but like, I feel like it is. And obviously she's calling him that because he was running at her with a chainsaw. But still, that's enough to stir something in his soul. Chainsaw Man. Because you were fighting with a chainsaw. Oh, yeah. They look at each other for 2 panels. Biden. Hey, that devil. Well, she runs off to the rest of the class with Bucky before he finishes that sentence. I mean, he did run off to her to kill it. But, yeah, that whole meeting really threw him out of whack. I'm hungry. I want food. My heart like thumped for a second there. Oh, you have heart thump disease. I know about it because I have medical knowledge. Treat me to a meal and I'll cure it for you. No. Power being a pathological liar even here. Asa playing ball with the rest of her classmates, actually feeling included, and on her way to become, good with her social skills and form regular relationships with people, like a regular high schooler. Oh, the look that Denji's giving her. Oh no, this is going to make me cry. Shit. I was hoping it wouldn't. Oh, that look from Denji. I don't know. It's like, he can feel so much. A connection that transcends something between him and Asa. And he feels content. Looking at her, trying her best. And even though he's not living that life, there is something that just makes him satisfied seeing that. We're having fried chicken, right? And egg rolls, right? and fried rice, ramen, and pot stickers, and ice cream on the way home, I'm broke. Let's go shake down our seniors. The end. Yo. I don't know if I wanna like pause the video to cry by myself a little bit or just let you guys see it. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna be able to be coherent about this. There's no... This is the end of the school academy saga arc. End of part 2. Like we had in chapter 97. It's just the end. Yo, give me a second. Okay. It hasn't even been a minute. It's so soon to form a complete opinion. But honestly, maybe it's because I was so anxious of what, you know, just thinking of the worst case scenarios. But I like it. I think I like it. If there's like one thing right now that I'm just straight up like, why? Like, why no Aki? Why is he the only one out of Denji's family that doesn't show up? You know? Like, sure, I can imagine that Denji is one of the seniors or senpai that Denji's gonna go shake down, but we don't get to see it. So why? That's right now like my biggest like nitpick. I don't know if I should call it a nitpick, but like we have Nayuta in power. It's not just the Blood Devil and the Control Devil. Granted, I don't think Nayuta says her name, but like that's clearly Nayuta. So like, why didn't Fujimoto give Aki the same courtesy? Other than that though, I think I really like it. And I feel like some people will just say like, oh, like it feels like nothing mattered because everything got reset. But I disagree, because this chapter wouldn't mean as much as it does without everything that the characters went through for 230 chapters. And to me, just liberating them from the miserable cycle that they were stuck in, and giving them a true, fresh, new beginning, to me, I think, is the, I don't want to say best, but I think it's one of the best things that Fujimoto could have done. And I didn't think it was possible, but the last chapter, it's filled with a hope. I didn't think it was possible. Now, like I said, we don't see characters like Aki or others that died. So it's hard to say whether Denji will be able to form, meaningful or a strong relationship with like Aki or Yoshida. But like, the point is that the chance is there. And to me, I'm okay with that. Yeah, like, I'm sure that public safety is still quite a corrupt and just an organization that preys on the weak, and maybe not weak of, physical strength, but weak of like emotional strength and just economical standing. I don't think that changed. But, the hope is there that without a Makima, Denji's heart will be filled with the connections and bonds that he always truly desired, which was family. And like, honestly, this is the best conclusion I could have gotten for Denji specifically. Just, yeah, he probably, or rather, I think in this version he still killed his dad. But that memory won't be used against him in such a cruel way as Makima did. And maybe he can heal from it. Not totally, but eventually he'll be able to look back on it and think it wasn't so bad that he did so. And he can forgive himself for it because of the support system that he'll have. Because Denji's biggest strength is being able to befriend people who anyone will think are just not fit to be a friend. So yeah, oh my god. I know I said I wasn't gonna talk about it much, but holy shit. Also, Power saying, you know, all these foods that she wants to eat, and at the end says, on the way home. So they both have a home to go back to. And they can eat everything they want. And even though Denji says, I'm broke, he's still confident he can get the money for everything that Power wants. He has what he always wanted. Food, delicious food, to eat every day. Eating with a girl. And maybe later he'll play video games with Nayuta. It may not have been in a romantic way, like he thought he needed, but it's a much more fulfilling relationships, because I'm including Power and Nayuta. Oh man, the more I think about it, the more I like it, I think. I haven't even talked about Asa much, but like, like, she didn't have to go through all the torture that Yoru put her through. Because I'm pretty sure the guy that was killed by like the crab devil, Mr. Tanaka, he's dead. So the class press doesn't have any reason to kill Asa anymore. And she might be even one of the ones that are playing with her at the end. There's no longer this piece of shit adult putting himself in the middle of two young girls who, you know, could have been friends all along. Whew. Also, yeah, in the one encounter that they have, Denji does help her so that she doesn't trip. But that's that, you know? He only helps her with this one thing. But it's up to Asa to grow as a person and become better at forming bonds with others and not grow bitter and jealous and alone. And Denji gave her the push that she needed, even if she will never know that's what that was. Yeah, I think the panel of Denji in the penultimate page is my favorite in the chapter, by far. There's so much in that expression to me. But okay, I ended up talking more than I wanted. No, rather more than I should have. So yeah, like I said, I'm still gonna do a video just talking all about part 2. But for now, this is gonna be it. Thank you, Fujimoto. Thank you, Chainsaw Man. Thank you, Denji. And thank you everyone who watched all of my reactions to part 2. Because now that I've read 232, despite all the lows and the big highs, I would not change this experience for something else. So, see you when I see you. Bye bye.